Good afternoon and welcome back. Hopefully everybody still has enough energy for us. And even though Mike insulted me earlier, I've decided to join the stage with him. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Welcome. Let's make sure you don't stutter.
We are very good friends, but we're also very competitive. So we're gonna close this up now. Probably a lot of what you've heard today from us. You're going to hear a little bit again, and I know that we're all excited to get to Carsten and the financials, so we'll be brief. But Mike and I are excited too. We've seen this. Get to close up this section. North America operations. So what we've talked about today is really strong performance over a period of time. And I've mentioned a few times going back to my first capital markets in 2017, then participating in 19 and then into 22. I think one of the things that I'm proud of amongst many, many things is the fact that we've accomplished what we've set out to do and what we've told you. So I think Lars, in that original capital markets day, he talked about improving commercial execution, making sure we were best in class in launches. So that's what we set out to do. And over this period, I think we've demonstrated that over many different products. What we're also very, very proud of is the fact that we now have over 10 million patients that we're serving in North America. So we count patients, and in our world, when you look at, I think Henrik gave a number earlier, it took us about 40 years to get to 5 million patients, and it took us about a year and a half to double that. So really a step change, and we're very proud of that. Now, it has not been easy, and I think you'll hear some of this from Mike. We share in some of these challenges and opportunities. So we have had and will continue to have healthcare reforms. That is not anything new. I was just in a conversation a minute ago about, every president that I can remember has always run on some sort of reform. And I'm sure it'll happen again in just a few months from now. It's happening now. But we've been through that, and it's part of doing business in the US. What we also know is we're going to have to continue to manage supply. And we've been doing that now for several years. And I think, as you just heard in some of the breakouts, especially in IO, we're getting very, very good at that. Not easy, but we're getting good at that. And I think around the world, and certainly in the US, since we're a country that usually launches first, there will always be intensifying competition. Like us, they put a lot of marketing muscle and sales muscle into launch brands in the US. But we're used to that as well. But more importantly is our opportunities. As I said earlier, we really do believe that with this health crisis and obesity, we have an incredible product. It's really a gift from R&D to us to be able to commercialize it and to be able to change the lives of really, hopefully, millions and many more millions of patients. And as we heard from some of the patient testimonials, it really is changing lives, which is incredibly important and meaningful to us. We do believe there's still an opportunity in diabetes, and you heard that. We have strong momentum in the US with Ozempic in particular, and with Rybelsus. Last year, we reported 42% growth year over year. So we're also, like Mike, very proud of that product and what we're doing and what we're delivering. And in the end, we're also excited about, and sort of an internal tagline that I'll say at many, many company meetings, is that there has never, ever been a better time to be at Novo Nordisk. Because when we think about where we've been over 100 years and the opportunity that we have moving forward, we're moving into new disease states, we're in the right disease states now, and we have the right brands. So it's incredibly exciting. So just lastly, if you go back to all the way to 2003, we've faced healthcare reform in the past. This is not new, all the way through to the IRA, which is now. We've managed that. We'll continue to manage that. It's a part of doing business in the US. And as I've mentioned in several occasions now, we're proud of the transformation that's happened in North America. That was the commitment early on, back in 2017. We would stabilize the business, and then we would return to growth. What we're also seeing is not only in the return to growth with some of these launch brands, we are building for the future. So maybe, Mike, I would say, and before I turn it over to you, the best is yet to come.
Is that because I'm on right now?
Maybe.
I share the excitement, of course, with Doug. I've seen many of you in previous Capital Markets Day, and if you go back to actually the beginning part of this slide, there was a period where international operations was very proud to have a sustainable business at 4 to 6% growth rates, and we had it actually in our corporate aspirations for a number of years. Then our new boss kind of forced us to strive for a bit more and get to double-digit growth, and we did, I would say, and the graph again shows this, and the last period, despite I think supply challenges that we have had, despite shortages, despite that launching, which is the bloodline of our organization, has gone to a lesser number per year, we have been able to increase the growth rates even though the numbers are larger, and I think we are very, very proud of that in NAO. We're also very proud that the bars are becoming more colorful than a single color one. It's almost like a table that has multiple legs, and that of course provides the sustainability that we need in the international organization setting. And I say that because when you're dealing with a lot of different countries, it is not unusual that you wake up in a given day and then there's a challenge somewhere. I often talk about opportunities, but I do want to touch upon some of these challenges here, some of which are exactly the same as Doug mentioned in North America, making sure that we manage the supply situation, making sure that we manage our competitors. And our competitors are actually some of the ones you know, the famous ones internationally, but we have a lot of competitors, a lot more actually locally that we operate with, you know, when it comes to IO. But that last piece, macroeconomics and political instability, I also like to a little bit touch upon. As we entered this year with 2 wars around the world, I have a lot of colleagues in my organization that are basically operating under very difficult circumstances, trying to get the innovations that you saw from Marcus and Martin's slides into the hands of the patients, although their life is very different than the ones we live under. Any given point of year, there are earthquakes, there are other issues that we need to manage, and it goes unnoticed. It doesn't hit the news, and the numbers continue to develop and grow, and I'm very proud that, of course, we can do that under the radar, but I thought it would be important that, of course, you recognize that as beautiful the numbers are, it's not walk in a park. What gives us motivation, of course, are the opportunities that are mentioned here. We are building the obesity market around the world, and no matter where we speak to this, there's a huge excitement that we're part of a new revolution. We are finally able to tell the world what we have known for a long time ourselves, that obesity is not just a lifestyle issue, that there is much, much more to it. And there are, of course, ways to help and treat so many people in need that have tried on their own for so many years and have not succeeded. GLP-1 growth, I showed, it's incredibly exciting everywhere. And of course, I hope that many of you guys had the chance to join the China breakout session. As a single country, you cannot get not excited about China. US is exciting, but China is also, you know.
I was in.
And then, of course, when we put this in really the context of IO in a single slide, then you come with this so-called market fit approach that we have been telling you about for some time now. Regardless of what geography you're looking at, and again, we had a good session on EMEA and China, but even the rest of the world, the Asia Pacifics and the Latin Americas of the world, follows some of this overall strategy. Now, if you look at the near term, then you see 3 logos predominantly: Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy. Near term for us is 1 or 2 years. As you move into the midterm, then you see a lot more Wegovy logos there, because we're delayed with Wegovy. So we have to basically get as many markets on Wegovy within this period. And obviously then, in the longer run, it's everything that you heard about today, and some of the specificity of the various different regions come at play here, because while IcoSema could be incredibly exciting, let's say in China, it might be less so in another market. But we have other, of course, engines to use as we go from one geography to the other. None of this will matter unless we turn that into some financials. And who better to explain that? The Chief Finance Officer.